Welcome, everyone. Welcome to MusicFirst Elementary. I hope you're doing great. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to let Mary introduce herself, and she's going to get us started. It's so good. I'm seeing all of us saying hi in the chat. I hope your school year has started well. My name is Amy Burns, and I have been for 30 years. This is my 30th year teaching elementary general music along with elementary band and private lessons. I am over here in New Jersey. I work for a preschool through 8th grade private school, and I'm excited tonight to show you what you can do with MusicFirst Elementary. So I'm going to bring it over to Mary for her to introduce herself.
Thank you, Amy. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Birkner. So happy to have you all here. I'm currently in Gainesville, Florida, and I taught elementary music. I've taught preschool music. I have a PhD in music education, and so I've taught music education and music performance classes at the University of Florida. And I also serve as the curriculum advisor for MusicFirst Elementary. So I'm very happy to give you a little bit of context about how the curriculum was designed. And then I'll pass it back to Amy, and she can show you all of the fun stuff about how you can actually use it in your classroom. So without further ado, if you haven't already told us where you are and where you're from, please drop that in the chat. And you might also want to mention, if you're just getting to know MusicFirst Elementary, if you've been using it for a while, or if you're just starting out tonight for the first time. So just a little bit of background. Why MusicFirst Elementary? You have many curriculum choices out there. This has really been designed to inspire active music making with songs at the heart of the curriculum. So our overall goal in designing and teaching with this curriculum is really for children to have fun making music while learning about many styles of music and also how music works. MusicFirst Elementary has been designed so that it can be used both sequentially and also flexibly. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Just a quick background on our design. We use a spiral curriculum, which means that we have a very well-defined scope and sequence that spans from kindergarten through 5th grade. And that enables students to learn about and to make music actively. We use this spiral curriculum design where musical concepts are introduced in the earlier grades, and then they're continually revisited in increasingly complex ways as students progress through the grade levels. So this really allows musical elements and theory-related concepts to be embedded and deepened throughout a student's elementary music journey. We are aligned with the National Core Art Standards, and this is nice because it ensures that all of these domains of learning, creating, performing, responding, connecting, are included in every unit. So as Amy shows you how these units work, you'll see that every unit involves a variety of musical activities centered around a collection of songs. And then the musical activities that go with the songs allow opportunities for students to improvise, compose, listen, respond, perform, and really connect to the music. In MusicFirst Elementary, we offer a wide variety of songs in many styles. We really try to represent diverse cultures, and we use authentic music from around the world. We use native speakers, we use native instruments, and we're always adding to this. So we have a lot of projects in the works still to come, but we'll show you a little bit of that today too. You'll also see that with every song in the curriculum, there's many, many opportunities for cross-curricular connections. So you have many opportunities to delve into other areas of study, help students make personal connections with the music, and teach a little bit more, even just beyond the song and the music that you're doing. MusicFirst Elementary, excuse me, is song-based learning. And so what that means is that songs are at the heart of the curriculum. That means that teachers are trying to squeeze every little bit of musical learning, all the musical elements out of every song that's introduced. So you're always talking about rhythm, beat, dynamics, timbre, texture. This is integrated every time you're teaching music. And so as Amy shows you what this looks like within a lesson, you'll see a song at the center, and then you'll see many activities that go with songs. As I mentioned before, listening and responding, singing, playing instruments, improvising, composing, and of course, performing. So this is just a view of a song that you would see, and then some of the activities that you can do along with that. And I just want to point out that as Amy shows you how this can work in your classroom, a lot of the songs are designed with a small activity section in the middle. And these are designed so that as you're learning to teach the students how to sing the song, you can also have them play instruments, have them move, have them improvise or compose along with the music that they're learning to sing. So keep your eyes out for that as well. So I'm just going to switch over to the actual website because I want to show you a couple of places that you might miss if you're just kind of delving in for the first time. So hold tight while I switch over there. Okay, so if you haven't ever logged in before, this is our homepage. And we have grade level tabs here at the top where you can access the curriculum for each grade. But something that often gets overlooked is this documentation tab at the top. So I just want to point you in the direction of a few things that you can look at on your own time. But please do check out our song index. That's right here. And this will give you a nice overview of the music that we have and what activities go with each song. So if you're looking for just a general overview, be sure to check that out. And then I'll also mention, under that same documentation tab, you might want to look at the scope and sequence. This will show you each grade level and what's being taught as far as the musical elements and musical activities. And then one more thing before I pass it over to Amy for all the fun stuff. If you click on a grade level tab, you'll see that we have a lot of helpful documents here. And there's a little drop-down menu. So be sure to check this out. This is where you'll find assessment tactics, key documents, more grade level information. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Amy.
Yay, thank you, Mary. That's a great overview. And now I am really going to have a deep dive. And I'm going to show you my kids. My kids are real. So what you're going to see is a very real classroom with real classroom management challenges and, and pluses and snaps and everything too. So I am an elementary teacher. I mean, you might have read some of my books or you might know me from Midnight Music or hear from MusicFirst Elementary, but my heart and soul is in my elementary music classroom. So I'm going to show you when I jumped into this product about 2 years ago, where I came from with it. I am level 1 in ORF, in Kodai, Dr. Fire Robbins, First Steps, done a lot of technology certifications. We use Seesaw, we use Book Creator, we use Google. So there's a lot I have in my background. And when I started using MusicFirst Elementary, I felt like even as a veteran teacher, this was something that I could easily implement. So, but the first thing you ask yourself is, I have a subscription. So where should I begin and how do I gauge my timing? I'm going to tell you my timing because I think that's good to know. So I teach preschool through 4th grade general music. I see them twice a week for 45 minutes. Then I have 5th through 8th grade band on Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. Woo woo. And then I have 5th and 6th grade instrument classes once a week for 45 minutes. So really wanted to give you that because I think it's important to know what my timing is so that you can compare it to your timing. And we're going to jump right into a 1st grade lesson, Unit 1, Lesson 6. And this one is Cookies. This is the cookie song. So as you go through this, at the end of this webinar, where I want you to think is, what one item will you try with your students in the near future? So as I go through plenty of items today, choose one, because what I always say is I give you a dessert buffet, but if you ate it all, you would get really sick. So try just one item that I'm going to show you today. So here we go. When you currently log in, I'm going to show you a little video here. On here, this is Mary was showing you. On the left side, we have the units and lessons. On the right side, the supplement and the creative tools. Documentation, workspace, UMU are on the top. And to get to my lesson, I go to 1st grade, and then I scroll down and I get to the cookie song. And I can go into plan or I can go into teach. When I go into plan, it's going to give me every documentation I kind of need for the lesson, from the lesson plan to the music to the chords and lead sheet. And just with one click, I can begin to teach. So it makes it, I showed that video to really make you understand that this is such an easy and intuitive curriculum. So what I'm going to start you actually is a cute little preview, because understanding music is there, right? It's there. It's the first part of the class. It's in the first tab on the screen. And I love this because today I found out, we started 3 weeks ago, that the first grade class that comes to me at 2:00 in the afternoon comes from recess, then PE, then to me. Now give me a whoop whoop if you have classes like that. Yay! So they're coming in. You can imagine, I bet you know what they're coming in like. So the first thing I really need to go is when they're coming in, I'm hot, Mrs. Burns. So let's get them focused onto music. And I love starting this way because regardless if they've been in recess and PE or they've just done 90 minutes of academics in their classroom from all of those, yes, kindergarten at the end of the day, from all of those times, you need something to focus them. Or what if you are on a cart and you're going to their classroom? That's what I've done that for a couple of years. And when you do that, the kids are like, you're in my classroom. And it's like, no, it's music. So I love understanding music. Every lesson starts with this. This is a sneak preview because they're updating it. So I'm just going to show a little bit of it. Dance with me for a little bit here, okay? Now, we can't see you, so I could just have fun do this myself, but I hope you'll dance with me. Do a little bit of this with me. All right. I hope you had fun doing that with me. It's going to go into a question and answer. I love this because what have we done so far? We've done steady beat practice. We've done echo clapping. And now we're getting into question and answer, which is fantastic. Some of the things you saw me do there is that you saw me change the settings so that I could go into stick notation, because it's what we use in my classroom, that we could kept it in iconic the blobs because this is first grade. And you also I showed you how to change the animals so they weren't doing always 8 bars and making it a little bit shorter for my students. This is really, really important and it's so helpful. So what is this showing you? It's allowing you to customize this to your students' needs. And that is fantastic. Again, getting them focused after after that, they get really happy. Like, okay, it's music time. I'm there with you, Mrs. Burns. You've got us. Let's go. So I always love to show you a few things. After every activity, I'm going to tell you why my students love this activity and the classroom management tools that I use. They love this activity because, again, all the things you see on the screen. They love to improvise. They're first graders. This is easy for them. This is not something that makes them shy. And I wish I had that inhibition that they have, like that, just that they want to do it. And then the feeling of the beat, the reading. I love the reading that they get to do and that they reinforcing all that. And those grow per grade level. That's pretty first grade appropriate. But as they get into second grade, they add barred instruments. Or if you don't have barred instruments, you can use your voices or non-pitched instruments. It gets into third grade and you can add recorders. It's really good. When you get into fifth grade, it has like 5/4 and 5/8 and all these really mature things. So it's not babyish. As it goes through the grade levels, this progresses. I think that's so, so important. So again, classroom management on this, bubble spaces. I constantly talk about bubble spaces. I really do adapt the focus with those settings because it depends on my class what I need them to focus on. So those settings constantly change per class. You have no room to move, use desks. You can do this seated. Okay, so now we're going to jump in. So I'm going to change over. And now we're sharing the tab that I have on the screen, and we are now into MusicFirst Elementary. So as I showed you before, we were over in the cookie song, and I already showed you the plan, so I'm going to jump right into the teach. I do want to remind you, always full screen. It's really good to full screen, and I forgot like the first couple of months using this. We did the understanding music, so we're going to jump into the listen and respond. How I start this off is I talk to the kids and I say, okay, I have a really cool song for you. And what do you think it's about? Of course, the hands go up. Well, some of them are just blurting it out. But of course, I try to get the hands to go up. And yes, it's about cookies. Now comes the 20 kids who want to tell you every story about a cookie. I love the stories, love the stories. Always kind of say, love your stories. If you have time after class, tell me a quick thing about cookies. But we're going to jump in right into this song about cookies. So when we go into listen, respond, I love this because I'm kind of under the methodology, and I think it's my Fire Robin influence, is to hear the song 4 or 5 times before ever trying to teach it. And there's so many different ways we can hear it. One of the ways I do this is give the students beat buddies, and they keep practice with their beat buddies. I had a friend who gave me all of these Beanie Babies years ago of lighthouses, and they're the best little beat buddies I've ever had. And the kids love them. They love it when the beat buddies come out. After that, the second time we might hear it, and again, this I'm doing over 2 class periods, and it's not taking the entire 45 minutes. I'm going to do this for about 10 minutes of this lesson and then join in next time with some other items of this lesson. That way I can do other things as well. Some of my Kodai influence, some of my Orff influence. So the second time they might listen to it with the beat buddy, now they're going to answer questions. So I'm going to hit play and go through the tabs. Look at these questions. These are great for higher order thinking. So if you have the administrator in the back of the room with the checklist and they're looking for the higher order thinking, you've got it right here. But this is also just so good for your students to think about when they're listening to music. Let's look at some of the questions.
Round and sweet with chocolate chips makes me want to lick my lips, dance and sing and shout hooray, it's a cookie kind of day. Cookies, 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 cookies.
So these have some really nice facts about cookies. I always love the did you know? And I didn't actually get to see the answer on this, but they talk about the backup singers. When they get to the end, they have like Cookie Monster sounding voices when it goes cookies and you hear cookies. And it's really cute. And the kids love that. That's why that picture here, this one is there to show you like there are some funny voices and they love the funny voices. So again, the second time after the beat buddies the first time in listening, and we do different various study beats, that's the second time. So they start to go into those questions. And then I might leave it and come back to it on another lesson after that. When we're ready to learn to sing the song, this is what I really love, because if I need to show reading, I can use this tab in the Learn to Sing. And this is great because you're reinforcing reading. If I want to show more of a musical score and everything, this focal point of the yellow really helps a lot of my students in my class. And this is helpful to learn it that way. But I would start with the chorus. I would not even start with those verses. The chorus is so age appropriate for my 6-year-olds that this is a great one to do. And it's, even though it's going an octave range there, it is nicely based almost around a pentatonic scale, which is great. As they go into the play your instruments, my kids love this one, because in the play your instruments, which I love too, is you can grab a barred instrument and it will play for you. So this is really cool. Like, you can play along, and it's like a little play along video. And if you know me, I love my play along videos. I create them all over my YouTube channel. I love this part because that is that part. But if you go into this part 2, it's just ostinato. So I would be teaching C, 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 and then I would be teaching over here back in the other part, the do, re, do. Whoops, in number 1. Do, do, re, do. And then we transfer that over to a barred instrument. Actually, my first graders use the desktop bells. And then, of course, you can go into improvisation. What I love about this is you take out 3 barred instruments. If you don't have barred instruments, take out bells. If you don't have boom whackers or bells or any pitched instrument, take out sticks and have them improvise here. That making up portion is so fun for them, and it's so important for us that they have this. So I'm going to jump back and just show you, just review some of the things that we just did. So we talked about the beat buddies. That's what I would have done first. There's the cookie song. Then the second time going through, there's some great activity forms that Mary talked about earlier in the documentation tab. If you're kind of like, this is too much technology, Amy, then go ahead and print out and have them use these instead, these forms, and have them look at how age appropriate they are. They're really just circling a picture that makes them like, is it major? Is it minor? Is it blues? It makes them understand what you're trying to ask them. We went into full screen. Please don't forget that full screen. It's very easy to forget. I know I've forgotten it many times, and now the students just remind me. We went in to learn to sing the song. Like I said, that would probably be in the second class, and I would start with just the chorus. We went into playing our instrument. That would be a part of the first class, because again, it's another way of them hearing it, but we would teach that ostinato or just this do, re, ostinato that they put in there and have the students play. And here's an example. I always show examples from my classroom. I think it's so important that you know I am using this. So watch them play that play along. Love that. Those are my little first graders there playing along on those desktop bells. And then improvising, you saw that they had the other bell out, and that is because we were going to go right into the improv activity. And then that's what it shows. Now in the improv activity, what I love is that you can do the settings, which is really nice. So you could put it on solfege if that's what we were teaching it on. So I can change that over to solfege. Why my students love this. They love answering the questions. That means they love doing the improvisation. I'm like, if I ask you this, can you make it up and answer the questions in the improv? In addition, they love answering the questions in the listen and respond. Cookies is such a sweet topic, and anytime I bring out beat buddies, it's always a good day. Classroom management, again, introducing with the stories. If they are determined to give you a story, teach them, of course, the Me Too sign. Like, do you love cookies? Are you going to tell me a story about cookies? Just show me with this. At least they feel like they're being heard. And you really do want them to make their feeling safe and heard in your classroom. The beat buddies always set expectations for that one. And if they can't lived up to those expectations, they put the Beat Buddy away. And if they can, hopefully we'll get it back. And again, the answering, the listen, respond, you could use those sheets or call out. I do that. And the ostinato, we sing on solfa. So now what I love is that MusicFirst Elementary added some activities, which some movements, which I am loving. So I want to show you where you can find them. Your movements can be found right here. When I realized, I thought it only had 4 movement activities, but it actually has a whole bunch. You just have to make sure you open that whole menu. Or you could go to the plan and you'll find the movements there as well. So in this one, this is a simple steady beat movement, which I thought, oh, that's really good. But I'm thinking my first graders could actually do a little bit more, because what I felt like was this was a precursor to bow, wow, wow. Whose dog is thou? Little Tommy Tucker dog, bow, wow, wow. Jump. So I was like, let me level this up and prepare them for that activity. So here is what it looks like. They're just tapping, they're clapping, they clap together, and then they clap by themselves again. Do you like my little video? I made that with the little characters. Now here they go. I decided to really challenge them and add rests. And again, this is one of those, this is a real classroom. You'll see what happens.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Pat, pat, clap, clap, partner. Clap, clap, jump. Rest, rest, rest. 1, 2, ready, go. Woo! And jump and wait and 1, 2, here you go. And jump. 1, 2, here we go. Woo! And jump.
They love that. They love that activity. It was going off the rails a little bit, but it was pretty good. I thought they got that so nicely. These movement activities are all over the MusicFirst Elementary. And if you look at them, they really are showing you so many different diagrams. That's what I love about it. Like, I love being able to find a diagram that looks like this. This helps me really understand it. Look at this diagram over here. So they really do a nice job. Singing games are there. It's really, really good to look at, to find those. And why do my students love this? Well, they love to move, as you already know. They need to move. They really can't be sitting in my classroom 45 minutes without moving. They know that they love it when they can, they love it when they play it at recess. Have you ever gone by recess and hear them doing your games? That is like, my heart is full. It's really good for connecting and teamwork and working together. And then comes the classroom management. Well, if you have kids who don't want to hold hands, scarves are always a nice alternative. We talk about being our best when choosing partners. Body language, eye contact, say good words, tone of voice. Like, Mary, would you please be my partner? Is the way we want to say it, as part of, Mary, do you really want to be my partner? You know, we talk about this all the time to make sure that they understand their tone of voice is very important. Or you could pair them up through markers or different other colors like that, just giving them, or popsicle sticks. Again, I've linked elbows when they don't want to hold hands. And if they're not wanting to tap each other, they can tap the air. So we always try to adapt and just let them feel safe in your classroom. All right. So now I'm going to add something more to this. So let's say we've done this song now twice. We're in 2 different classes. And I think they are ready to decode the rhythm, because it's just do, do, mi, mi. You know, I mean, it's a really simple rhythm, and it's so perfect and age appropriate for what we're doing at this time of year with our first graders. So we're going to now jump into the creative tools. There are 7 creative tools. This is what's so great about MusicFirst Elementary. You don't have to go and get a digital audio workstation like Soundtrap or BandLab for your older elementary. It's included in the whole program. And this rhythm grids I'm going to show you, this is a decoding tool that I love so much. It can be used for other things too, but I love to use this for decoding. So I'm going to show you a little bit of this. I asked the students to decode. We use blobs, but you don't have to use blobs. They can be, there's notation in here. And besides that, this is great at a station because it has this here tab, so they could actually self-assess themselves. But what they're doing is they're clicking and dragging onto the screen, and then they're performing it. So here I'm changing around to notes. That is so cool. So again, they can use it for decoding, coming up to an interactive board, coming up to a device. But there are also sheets. Again, too much technology. You don't want them on tech all the time. You can print out these sheets and it comes with all of those. I'm pretty sure I have it on the next screen. It's coming up, but it comes with all of those tools in it. So they can just draw it in that way as well. I love rhythm grids. You could do like name that tune. You could do sight reading with it because when you hit the shuffle, when you hit the other ones, you can do a lot of different things with it. Why my students love this? Exactly what I just said. It's very intuitive. It's click and drag. One of my second graders found 16th notes and then everything happened and had so much fun in my class. I'm going to show you that video. And creativity, there's so many cool things. There's advanced options. So yes, you can get into more complex meters. Here are my second graders. We were decoding and then my second grader said, "What's this?" And we were using blobs. I'm like, well, those are 16th notes I really haven't gotten into. And that was it. I was like in the middle of explaining that when they decided to do this. Here they go. You wrote it. They're like, it's so hard. I'm like, well, you made it a really fast tempo and you wrote all 16th notes. But I love that so much. I really thought like that was really cool, you all. And again, that's rhythm grids. It's in your creative tools. Classroom management, take turns on this one. Use an interactive board. You can do a device connected. There are the sheets I was talking about. You could just grab the sheets right off the website. It's right there in the creative tools. And when you launch rhythm grids, you can print those out. You can use body percussion, rhythm sticks. But one of the things I love to do with it is they created a rhythm and then we practice just open string ukulele down and down up strumming. So they didn't have to focus on any sort of chords because this didn't have any sort of chords written in and they could just focus on strumming. And I love that. And finally, my second graders got the down strum really, really good just from using this because they got so into those styles that we added onto it. So singing, this one is where I'm going to actually jump now into an older grade. So I showed you a lot in that first grade lesson, singing it, doing a rhythm grid to it, a creative tool to it, playing along with it, beat buddies. I mean, that's a lot. And again, that's kind of over 2 lessons that I did that. And they're 2 45-minute lessons, but I didn't do it the whole time. It's just portions. They're like 6 or 7 years old. I'm really only doing activities that are about 5 to 6 minutes. So again, this is nicely integrates into things I already do and other methodologies that I use. But what about the older grades? Let's take a look into the older grades. So I'm going to jump back into the program. We're back in here. Going to make sure that goes out of full screen. I'm going to jump over into 5th grade. And where I'm jumping is I'm jumping over into Simple Gifts, which is over in Unit 4. And this is grade 5. So with Simple Gifts, what I'm showing you here is it's going to be a little bit different. It's older. I'm going to show a little bit of the listen and respond and go through the tabs. Even the understanding music, I told you it gets into like 5/4 and 5/8. Gets into a lot more complex rhythms and meters. But even here, starting in 3rd grade, your whole listen and respond has elevated and it's much older. So let me show you just a little bit of this and go through as you listen to this beautiful arrangement of Simple Gifts by Chris Taylor.
'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained. To bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning, we come round right.
I don't want to like break her phrase. You saw that was a lot more mature. It grows with the students. I love that. So third, fourth, and fifth don't seem too babyish. I love that. And again, you can learn to sing. This one, what I adore, it has two parts to it. This is a two-part one. So you can find the second part. Look at that. Isn't that great? It's two-part harmony. Yay. Yes. Again, a little bit older. So you have a play your instrument. Look at the instruments. Now we have recorders. We have 4 parts. We have glockenspiels. And here it takes one of the creative tools. This is Music Explorer. And it allows the students, this is my 5th grade, to come on in and just write a little part to it. And see, I have kids who have played piano since they were 5. So if they can come up here and try to put ledger lines on, they try, and they get so bummed. They're like, "Oh, come on. You're forcing me to only use these." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And that's great. Let me show you an end one here. So this one's in note grids. This one's in note names. This one's no note names. You can put this into what works best for your students. About my 5th graders are about here to here. About mid-year, they'll be over here. 2nd graders and 3rd graders, we're about here. Let's say they really aren't getting the rhythm at all. You can isolate that here. And they still can't use the notation. Go ahead and use the grids. They totally need a steady beat. There it is. So when it's playing, it sounds and looks like this. Music Explorer. It's in the creative tools, but it's built into many of these lessons. So if you see a compose tab, I highly encourage you to try this one. If this is your thing, I remember your goal, choose one of these. Did you check out when I went to show you the second part? What was all this stuff above it? 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Again, more mature. You have that pianist. That pianist is going throughout your class just saying, "I'm bored. You do nothing. This challenges me." Oh, that was... You have those students sometimes. Well, they're a pianist. Print this out and have them play the entire song. You have a violinist. Awesome. Do you have a violist running around your school who's been playing privately? Give this to them. They will love it. What if you have this? You have a student who has just started playing the clarinet. Well, go to the sheet music tab. Now, not all of them in 3rd, 4th, and 5th have this sheet music tab, but when they do, you could go and grab this part on the open G. They just started clarinet. Tell them to bring their clarinet. The band teacher is teaching the clarinets, but you're still teaching general music. Tell them to bring the clarinets to class and start playing along on the open G. I just started my 5th graders on these open Gs. Bring it on in. You have someone who's a lot more advanced. There's more of the melody. And again, Amy, do you have parts for brass? Uh-huh. Oh, no, wait. Do you have parts for percussion? You bet we do. Keyboard? Yep. Ukuleles? Oh, yeah, ukuleles. 3 years ago, this is the only way. Once I started it in May of 2023, so 2 years ago. Now he's a 7th grader. He was a 4th grader in my school. He wasn't really loving music class, but he played guitar. I started using his curriculum. I told him, "Do you want to bring in your guitar and try this? Here are the easy chords." "Oh, no, Mrs. Burns, I'm advanced." "Okay, here are the advanced chords. Play with us." Every day from that day, and that was May of 2023, kept bringing his guitar. I was so happy I finally got him. I finally connected to him. I was so thrilled. And of course, strings. This is really, really, really wonderful in our older grades. So let me just show you what we just did. We talked about how this has great 2 parts. We talked about using the Music Explorer. Love that. We talked about the parts, and you don't even know this. I didn't even show this to you. But if you go into the plan, the parts can be downloaded as music XML. So all the techies in the house with me means you can open it up in MuseScore, in Flat, in Sibelius, not Finale, rest in peace. But you can open it up in a notation program. How awesome. I mean, that blew my mind. Besides that, they have a digital audio workstation that can score movies. That blew my mind. So I have a band. Did you know I have a band? I have a band that has 9 pianists, a drummer. This is a teacher. I had her play the solo part, 2 violins, 1 saxophone, 2 flutes, 2 clarinets, and a harp. No one writes for this, but MusicFirst Elementary does. Take a listen. Love it, love it, love it. Why my students love this in the older grades, more advanced part, it's geared towards them. It has a great range. You can assign a lot of these things individually. That's a whole nother workshop. Classroom management, this is great for group work, individual work. Again, we can assign things through UMU. That's one of those tabs on the top of the screen. You can choose a notation that works best for your students and the differentiated parts. And then over again on the right side of the screen, we have the Supplementary tab. The Supplementary tab is really, really fantastic because here's where you have recorders, ukuleles, barred instruments, and boom whackers. So here I'm going to show you, because that first grade, I'm going back to that first grade lesson. And this one is going into the boom whacker pieces. So I chose a 1-note one with just B's using the rhythms they've been working on in cookies, which is quarter notes and quarter rests. So how did I do this? I'm going to jump back in. And again, I went over to the Supplementary tab and chose one. And the one I chose was the boom whackers in B. Now you might say, I have a class of 25 students. I don't have 25 B boom whackers. Neither do I. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't either. But don't worry. What I did here was I found a lot of different pitched instruments and we made a game. They rotated through. And you can do this. I did it individually, but you could do this in groups. So like 4 B boom whackers, 4 barred instruments that are high, 4 barred instruments that are low pitch. Like I found anything that I could play a B out of. And what I love here again in the settings, they need help. They need some of the notation on that. So when it plays, it's going to light up. And not only that, it lights up over here. And it's on a tempo. You can gauge that tempo. So it can go much faster, much slower. So to show you how I use this in my room, I'm going to just jump over here. This is us moving around the room. Set it up.
Go ahead, switch.
We had that rest down. That was pretty fast. This is why we do it. This is how we do it. So they switch around every time I increase the tempo and they get so invested. They're like, oh my goodness, can we do it faster? And then in the end, they're like, go with the slowest it can go. And I'm like, okay, let's see if you can do it. They love playing the instruments. The highlighter is so good. They love to switch the various tempos. And again, that not enough, try to find things and just switch it around. It really excites them to actually change. And they're always saying, I never get to play this. I never get to play that. Well, they get to play it in this. And I call it a game because they think it more, they just love it more if I say it that way. You can use it as a station if you wanted to. And I love changing the tempo and adding those. I want to show you how that lesson all came together. So I'm going to jump back over here. That lesson is from 3 different parts of this curriculum. It's from the Supplementary tab. It's from the first grade here in the teach. And the movement is over here or in the plan. Amy, can we get that in one place? you can. When you're over here in this teach, this is the lesson I want to keep. So I'm going to click plus and add this lesson. And this is a whole nother workshop to show you slowly. So I'm just going to show this very quickly. It's now added to my lessons. So when I go to my lessons, this is going to look for all the people who liked organization. You will not like what you're looking at here. I apologize. It's like so much here. And you can see it's like 6 pages of things I've done, but it added it here. So then I'm going to go into edit, but I'm going to show you the end product here. When I went into edit, I said, go find the boom whacker, right? So search the resources and find the boom whacker. It found it and I added it in. For the movement, I downloaded the PDF and then uploaded it. Yeah, you can upload your own resources. So I can upload MP3s, videos, PDF, images, scores, docs, and put it right here. So now when I'm in the cookie song lesson and I hit play, look, I have everything. Understanding music, listen and respond, learn to sing, play your instruments, improvise, perform. There's the movement doc. Yay. So I have this. I don't have to switch out of it. And here's the boom whacker. So I have it and I don't have to switch out of it. Fantastic. And it's really just adding it to the lesson. Now, if you're like, Miss Amy, they have me use Google Slides. Well, what's so cool is it creates an individual link. So when I do have to use Google Slides, because that's my school's requirement for presentation tools and manipulatives, I just stick this link with this screenshot. And so in Google Slides, I'll click the link and then it just jumps the tab over to here. So everything has an individual link, which I think is so important for us because if we're having to use other platforms, it's really good to have this. So that's what I was showing you here in the My Workspace. And again, those individual links are so important. I know you couldn't see it on my screen, so I did that screenshot. I hope you were thinking about one item you will try with your students in the near future, because I hope you found a lot of cool things. I'm going to bring it back to Mary to round up everything, and then we're going to take your questions. So Mary, jump back on here. And if you want, you can share your screen and go ahead and round it up for us.
All right, let me take that back here. All right. Wrong slide. Sorry, guys. There we are. Okay. So Amy showed us so many fun opportunities that you can use with this curriculum. And I just want to remind you that this curriculum can be sequential. If you are a beginner teacher or you just want to follow a plan, you can go through unit by unit, lesson by lesson, and do it that way. Or if you're a veteran teacher and you have some tricks that you know work really well already for you, you can use this in a flexible way as well. So just to reiterate, again, there's a very clear scope and sequence for K through 5. Don't forget to check that out on the home page under documentation. And you can also on each grade level tab explore a grade level curriculum map. So that can help guide you if you really want more help in planning. As I mentioned, because we are standards aligned, and also I wanted to mention also, we are also aligned with many state standards. So if you're in a state, feel free to let me know if you'd like to see an alignment for that. We do that if the state is up for adoption. And so we do have some of those available as well. But all of our learning objectives in every lesson plan are national standards aligned. And these match also very nicely with our assessment tactics. So again, if you're a teacher that really wants some guidance, click on the lesson plan. You'll see clear learning objectives. And again, those also match up with very flexible assessment options. And so if you're wondering, how do I use all this and how do I see what learning has taken place? Look at those learning objectives. Find the checklist on the grade level page that will line up with those learning objectives for each lesson. Check off if those learning objectives have been met. You can also use interactive quizzes that we have at the end of every unit. So if you don't want to do a paper and pencil sort of assessment, I'll play you this little sample here. This is just an interactive quiz, and it's asking kids to listen for what instrument they're hearing, and then you can tap on the whiteboard and get your response. So here's a sample. And then you would tap on steel pans and you'd put your answer in, and yes, you were correct. You were listening to steel pans. So just one example of many different kinds of assessment that we have for every grade level. So no matter your teaching background, I think you can probably find something in MusicFirst Elementary that would fit your style. If you are ORF or Kodai, we didn't mention those tonight. We have another workshop coming up that will focus on those. But we do have many resources already on for ORF teachers, Kodai teachers. We have Kodai curriculum maps and many, many folk songs. So don't forget to explore those if that's more your style. That fits in nicely with what we also have in the MusicFirst Elementary curriculum as well. So think about where you might start. Maybe you're just wanting to get started with a couple grade levels. Maybe you're really interested in that creative toolbox. Maybe you're looking for supplementary resources or even just some new music to use. As Amy mentioned, our music grows really, really nicely with the students. You might find a sea shanty in 4th grade that's been recorded in a rock style. And so now it sounds really cool for that age level. So do take a listen to some of the music we have. And we have a few minutes left for questions and answers. So we would love for you to drop some questions in, and we will try our best to answer those for you with the time that we have left.
Mary, you should answer the question from Lynn. Were you two instrumental in creating these lessons? Mary, why don't you go into the background of how this came to be here?
Yes, I will. Thank you. So this program has been used for a long, long time over in the UK. And a few years ago, it was written, a different version of it was written for the US, and that became MusicFirst Elementary. And my role initially was to help align it with the national standards. So I worked with a team of teachers from across the US to make sure that we were ticking all the boxes, helped to rewrite some lesson plans, helped to bring in some ORF and Kodai specialists so that we had a well-rounded program. And I did write most of the assessment tactics that are on there, as well as the listen and respond activity forms. So yes, I definitely had a large part in helping to make it something that would be useful here in the US and align with our goals over here for music education. Amy has been our wizard in helping to bring it to life because she gets to use it in the classroom and gives us feedback. And that's another thing to mention. We're always tweaking this curriculum. It's not static. It's always changing. We have new things on the horizon. We do listen to teacher feedback, and so we want it to be something that's user-friendly, that grows with the times. Excuse me. So yes, definitely.
Lisa, I'll jump first onto your question. And then Mary really wrote a lot of the assessments. So she'll talk from her point of view and I'll talk from mine using it in the classroom. I didn't show you this picture, but I think I did it on one of my promos. This one, there's a lot of cool assessments in there. There's ones that you could use passports, musical passports that I put over into Seesaw and had students doing listening assessments, and they were just circling. And it was great because I took Mary's passport. She was like, try this out. And I just put it in Seesaw, and the kindergartners could just easily hear it and say, this is sad, this is fast, this is slow. I also used it on a big screen and had the students come up, and it's those unit assessments. You can see them in the lessons that are in the units, and they start on the first tab, but they're not in every lesson. They're in the beginning of the units, and you can click on those. And I've done it where it says 5, 15. I've done like 15 questions and had the students, I did it as pre and post assessments. So students came up and they answered the questions, did that at the beginning of the year, all of us who have SGOs and SLOs, and then did it at the end of the year to see if they knew it. Like at the beginning of the year, I knew they were not going to know any of that was on there, which was really good because that set my sights into showing how music class is helping them hit those SLOs and SGOs. Mary, what else?
Yeah, I would say we have a lot of formative and summative options. So if you're not planning to teach a full unit, maybe you're just going to do one song, you can use the formative checklists that go with every activity for that song. You can print those out on every grade level page under that little drop-down menu I showed you. So you can, if you're just going to do listen and respond, sing the song, perform the song, there's a checklist for each of those that matches the learning objectives for those activities. So you could just formatively assess couple songs in the unit, or you could wait till the end of the unit and print out the summative checklists, which, are a little more robust. Or you could wait till the end of a unit and do a unit quiz. Those are more interactive. The music passports are also on each grade level page. Those are more for student self-assessment. So if you maybe want to print those out and they keep a little journal, what did they learn in this unit? It's more an I can statement-based approach, I guess. So I can move to the beach, and then they might draw a picture of what the song made them think of in that unit. So take a look at those. And then we also have pre and post tests at the end of a grade level and at the beginning of a grade level and the end of a grade level. And those are built into the units as well. That's a great webinar topic for another day too.
Lynn, I feel you. I finished today. We had a meeting after school. I was done at 6:15. I was the last car in the parking lot. And then I went and picked up my daughter. So I sat in it because I'm in my Uber driver years with my teenage daughters. So I sat in a parking lot and then picked her up and literally was home about 7 o'clock. So I totally get it. And I agree with Bryson. We do record these. The only thing I change in the recording is I blur out my students. So if you do it live, you get to see a better quality video of my students using the product. When you get the recording, I have to blur everything out. So it's not as easy to watch with it all blurred, but you can understand why that's necessary.
But we do appreciate the feedback at the time of day. It's something we've talked about, and it's kind of interrupt dinner hour, interrupt bedtime. It's neither one is great. So, but yes, we will send out recordings as well. Any other questions?
You can see Bryson putting in the free trial. If you are here and you don't have a trial, please try that out. You also are going to get a PD certificate. So Bryson has put that, going to put that link in there. It's also on the last slide if you want to rewatch this and get that. And you can get a PD certificate. It'd give me a week to about send it to you. I could not get Autocrat to work tonight, so I would automatically send it to you. So techie as I am, Autocrat still the coding can be so much fun on that. So definitely do that. Join us next month. We will be, Eric Young and I will be working, doing a webinar where we can show you, if you are inspired to use one methodology more than the other, how this actually works beautifully into those methodologies. And join us with questions, come back and we're going to show you a lot that's hidden in there. It's not really hidden. It's just, there's so much great stuff. It takes time to find it all. And that's what we're here for with these webinars. We really want to help you find everything and be able to use this to the best that works to make your students feel successful and works with your students.
Thank you so much for being here. And if you have any questions, please email. We are very happy to respond. So appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day and a great rest of the week and a fabulous school year. And we are right there with you, teaching and inspiring every day.